Grip socks are great, but why pay up to $40 for a single pair when you can pay a lot less? Stop wasting money and get yours for just $14.99 a pair at puregripsocks.com.
If there's one type of football boot that I have not been able to recommend up until this point, it's laceless takedown models. Until today. Maybe, because they still have quite a few problems. Ladies and gentlemen, the Adidas X Speedflow.3 Laceless, a much cheaper alternative to the top-of-the-line $275 Speedflow Plus, this bearing a retail price of just $100, which is still $20 more than the laced variation of the same boot in the form of the regular Speedflow.3, which makes this one of the most expensive second-tier takedown models currently on the market. But because they're laceless, people are drawn to them. And the thing with laceless boots is that they're tricky to get right, even with high-end materials. So when you talk about lower budget materials and generally a cheaper overall construction, it's one of those things that is next to impossible to get right, which is why up until this point, I can't say that I've tried a laceless takedown model that I thought was legitimately worth the price tag. This is definitely their best effort, so I'll say that right now. The question is, are they actually worth the $100 price tag? Because for that type of money, you do have quite a few different options. So we're gonna go over all those details, the tech specs, how they fit and feel on feet, and effectively everything that you need to know. So if you're interested in learning more, please stick around, watch the entire review. And if you are interested in a pair for yourself, you don't have to pay full retail price. You can check out the first link down below. That's gonna take you to the review page on my website, where you can find them below their normal retail by way of some SR4U coupon codes. As always, if you guys do end up enjoying the video and appreciate the brutally honest reviews, please don't forget to support this with a like. And if you guys want to continue seeing takedown models reviewed on the channel, let me know which ones you'd like to see specifically down below in the comment section. Also guys, I noticed that a lot of people that watch the content on this channel aren't actually subscribed to the channel. If that's you, it would mean a lot to me if you could hit that subscribe button along with the little bell notification so you get notified when the next new video goes live. So first things first, the upper. And I must say, every second tier takedown model in the speed boot category tends to have a pretty cheap synthetic or a very basic mesh-based material, which I tend to prefer the mesh-based synthetics because at the very least, while they might not be the highest quality, they end up feeling soft on your feet rather than overly cheap plastic like so many speed boot takedown models have. This, however, is surprisingly premium. You can see that it is a textile-based synthetic material with a fuse overlay, and then if you look inside the boot, it has a reinforcement liner with little cutouts, basically giving you this semi-translucent look that you're also going to find on the top-end options within the Speedflow line, which is really impressive. As far as feel is concerned, it does have more of a rigid, plasticky sensation when compared to the more expensive models above it, even the Speedflow.2. But if we're comparing this to something like the Nike Mercurial Vapor 14 Academy, I just feel like this is a much nicer quality synthetic material overall that's going to provide a really decent barefoot touch considering how much they actually cost, and especially considering you can get these for $20 less with a lacing system. Review on the regular Speedflow.3 coming very soon, by the way. But that's not the reason why you're buying this boot. The upper is fine, but what about the laceless system? Because you can see it is a one-piece enclosure, and then across the top of the foot where the laces would normally be, you have this exposed mesh material, which isn't unlike past generations of X takedown models that were also laceless. On the underside though, and this is where things are a little bit deceptive, you'll notice that it's completely fused over in plastic. So this, despite looking like mesh, really has no stretch to it whatsoever, which means as far as laceless football boots go, these are actually really difficult to put on. But once they're on your feet, partially due to the structure provided by this synthetic upper, which is much nicer than any of the other takedown model laceless boots Adidas has ever put out, as well as the shape that they've gone for with this Speedflow.3 laceless model, they fit surprisingly well. And that's really been the downfall of pretty much every laceless takedown model that I've tried up until this point. They just don't fit well. And of course, this being laceless, it doesn't have any adjustability. So your foot might not work with the boots despite them fitting my feet pretty well. It's one of those things you kind of have to try on. But as far as the shape is concerned, this is much closer to the higher end laceless boots than any of the previous takedown models have been, which is a very good thing. However, it's not all positive. The opening has no stretch to it whatsoever, which means that these are really difficult to put on, much more so than the top-end Speedflow Plus, for those that are wondering. It of course features a low-cut construction and unfortunately suffers the same fate as so many Adidas takedown models with this very shallow fit in the heel, where when the boot is laceless and lockdown isn't as strong as it otherwise would be if you had a lacing system to tighten the upper and hold your foot locked back into the heel, you do experience some slippage, and in general, it just doesn't feel as secure as it perhaps should be because of this shallow design. The heel liner is nicely padded and has this really soft kind of mesh material at the back. In general, it's comfortable, but again, if your heel is slipping around a lot, it could lead to some significant discomfort. And then again, typical of a lot of Adidas takedown models, the insole is fully glued in and relatively cheap. It has a basic mesh liner on top, but in general, especially for $100, I would expect something removable and a little bit more premium. As far as the base is concerned, the stud pattern is technically the same as the high-end models, but the sole plate is entirely different. It's got good rigidity through the midfoot and heel, but the forefoot, you can see they went with an orange insert where the Carbitex carbon insert would normally be found on the Plus and 0.1 models. This, however, is really flexible and just doesn't provide any of that spring back sensation that the high-end models have. And then as far as the stud pattern is concerned, you get the same general layout that you're going to find across the entire Adidas brand, but with more aggressive bladed studs. And as far as speed boots go, this is a really solid stud pattern that competes pretty closely in terms of just outright bite when compared to something like the Mercurial series. And again, if we are comparing it directly to the Mercurial alternative in the Vapor 14 or Superfly 8 Academy, those only come with an MG stud pattern, which is less aggressive than what you're gonna find from this variation from Adidas. When it comes to weight, I'll be honest in saying that these are lighter than I expected them to be, but ultimately pretty unimpressive considering the $100 price tag. In a size 9.5 US, you can see the Laceless Speedflow.3 weighs in at 8.4 ounces, the equivalent of 239 grams, which is by no means heavy. It's actually kind of in the middle range as far as other second tier takedown model speed boots that are out there. But again, these aren't just normal second tier takedown models. They retail for $100, which means that you can often find the first tier takedown model in an older colorway that's been discounted for the same amount of money, at which point you can get something that's not just maybe a little bit better quality, but certainly a little bit lighter if that's something that you're really after. So here they are on feet, and I think it's pretty clear to see the quality of the fit compared to other laceless takedown models that I've reviewed on the channel. They just got the shape right, and the upper wraps your foot relatively well, and the material they've used isn't super cheap, rigid plastic or foam-based materials that just don't feel good at all. This feels relatively premium. My main complaint here is again that really shallow heel, where I'm wearing these with red Pure Grip Socks Pro, and you can see much of the heel grip sticking up above the back of the boot because of how shallow that fit actually is. And like I've talked about many times before, when it comes to laceless football boots, grip socks really do make a big difference. If you're interested in some of these, they're available in a wide variety of colors for the super affordable price of $16.99 a pair, or you can get our regular version, which retails for just $14.99. They're available at puregripsocks.com, which of course will be linked down below. Nonetheless, I think that if the heel wasn't so shallow, they would have a winner, but unfortunately the heel really does let down the overall fit, comfort, and experience of this boot, where having that sensation of your heel constantly feeling like it's gonna pop out, and even having significant pressure on the lower part of your heel that you wouldn't normally have, they just don't feel nice, especially considering these are $100. As far as the laceless system is concerned, it works well because it really doesn't have any stretch to it at all. This is basically a full synthetic upper with no stretch. It just has that predetermined shape. So in terms of fit, they are again very difficult to put on, but once you get them on, I think they fit quite nicely. If you have really wide feet, this is a terrible option for you. You probably won't even be able to get them on your feet. So as long as you don't have wide feet, I think there's a chance that these will fit you well if you can live with that shallow heel. But again, I think the fit overall, because of that heel construction, is a little bit of a letdown. And then as far as sizing is concerned, I'm wearing these in my usual size 9.5 US, and the fit and the length is perfect. So if you are looking to order a pair for yourself, I would strongly recommend going true to size in order to achieve the best possible fit. So in conclusion, I guess I have to say well done to Adidas for finally making a laceless takedown model that is up to an acceptable performance standard, but that's about as positive as I can be. I think if you are absolutely desperate to have a pair of laceless football boots and you just like having something from the latest generation, these are a heck of a lot cheaper than the much better Speedflow Plus. And I think they'll provide an experience that if you just care more about the laceless thing than anything else, you'll probably be pretty happy with these. However, if you have $100 to spend and you're after the best quality product for the money that you're about to drop, I don't think this is it. The shallow heel just doesn't do it for me. I don't think they're as comfortable as other boots that you can buy for the same amount of money. And again, $100 gives you a lot of options as far as other takedown models go, like Adidas's own Speedflow.3 with laces. They retail for 80 bucks. Much better product in terms of overall fit and comfort, not to mention lockdown. But again, for 100 bucks, take a look at what's on sale, not just from Adidas, but from other brands as far as high-end models go or first-tier takedowns. You're just gonna be able to find something better for the same amount of money. I can give them a pass, but I can't necessarily recommend them. Anyways, guys, that's it for this review. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, be sure to support it with a like. Again, if you are by chance interested in a pair for yourself, first link down below, go ahead and check that out. If you have any questions, as always, feel free to leave them down below in the comment section, and I'll do my best to get an answer out to you. If you're not subscribed to the channel already, make sure you hit that subscribe button along with the little bell notification so you get notified when the next new video goes live. You can find all my social media information linked down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.